going on, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee and Headphones. My name is Caleb.
My name is Trevor.
And this is a podcast where brothers talk about brother things. Maybe it's basically an NBA podcast at this point, because today we are giving you our predictions for the NBA award winners.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we talk about most of the time anyway. So it's only natural that this goes that direction. That and Star Wars. So, yeah.
Yes. I can guarantee you the next one will not be an NBA podcast, though.
Guarantee.
I'm drawing the line at 3 in a row. All right, though. Before we get into that, just a little bit of housekeeping, because I always do this at the end, which is usually when people tune out. But if you're here for the first time, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you consume your podcast. Feel free to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Coffee and Headphones Pod, and stay up to date with all things podcast. We threw up some different kind of content today, just some memes, if you will, about niche artists. So now that that's all the way, I say we get straight into it. What do you think?
Let's do it, bro. Do you want to start with – what do you want to start with? Rookie of the Year?
Might as well start with Rookie of the Year. You want to go first?
So, I'll let you go first because I already know who you're going to say. So, go ahead.
I mean, it's a pretty obvious pick this year.
No,
For me, Rookie of the Year is Paolo Banchero. He's leading all rookies in points per game. He's played pretty much every game. He's been a factor for the Magic. The Magic are undoubtedly better this year than they were last year, and their roster is largely the same with the addition of Paolo. So they also had John Isaac back for 9 games.
That's what I was about to say.
9 games. That's crazy. But Paolo has been undoubtedly a force on the offensive end. There's definitely room to grow, but he's a rookie, so you expect that. For me, Paolo takes this one pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, most people are always going to talk about scoring when it comes to Rookie of the Year. Obviously, I believe that you have to score, but I think your team also has to be a little bit better than the Magic are, because they have that time to build some chemistry if their roster is largely the same, which it is. So I'm going to go with the biggest threat to dethrone this man, Bennedict Mathurin. If you watch him play, he's incredibly athletic. He's also averaging, I think, 17, 18 points a game, something like that. And the Pacers are I think they're 6th in the East.
They're not.
They're 7th.
The Pacers are 12th, and they're only 1 game better than the Magic.
Well, they're better than the Magic.
They're 1 game better than the Magic.
They're better than the Magic.
Tyrese Halliburton.
But, I mean, Bennedict Mathurin's also a candidate for 6th Man of the Year.
Bennedict Mathurin is good. Yeah, definitely.
I think he gets less playing time than Paolo as well. So, I mean, I think the gap is probably still pretty large. People love that man in Orlando for whatever reason.
Because he's good.
Bennedict Mathurin,
I don't know why you're a hater.
He's okay. He's not that good. If they had somebody better on the team, he wouldn't do anything.
This man's straight up starting his villain arc. Brother is a hater today.
Call me Dylan Brooks.
Call him Dylan Brooks. That's crazy. Speaking of Dylan Brooks, he got suspended for getting a 16th ejection. Ja's going to be out with legal problems for the foreseeable future. And Brandon Clark is injured for the rest of the season. He's on my fantasy team. I've used all my ads this week. Yeah. So Brandon Clark is stuck on my roster until Monday.
That sucks.
But it's looking tough for the Grizzlies. Looking better for the other teams in the West. All right. Well, do you want to move on to Coach of the Year?
Yeah, we'll do Coach of the Year. I'll go first. I have 2, and I think they're very, very close in my opinion. We got Mike Brown, my bad. Let me slow down. Who has coached the Kings to 3rd in the West. There we go.
He has coached the Kings. That's true.
The 3rd in the West.
Yeah.
That team has great chemistry. They're playing top tier basketball, and realistically, they look like they're a team that's locker room is solid. Yeah, Malik Monk dropped 40 the other day. And you don't get a team like that without having a really good coach. And it's the Kings, third in the West. The Kings. Okay.
Yep.
So
Light the beam.
Light the beam, baby. Light the beam. And then my second one is pretty obvious. I'm gonna go with Mike Malone. All-star coach this year. Coached the Nuggets to #1 in the West. If you see any videos online, that locker room probably has the most chemistry out of any locker room. And Mike Malone is an amazing coach, knows how to coach certain guys. He's calling timeouts when he's supposed to this year. And he's actually playing the right players most of the time.
Yeah,
I've only screamed at him 2 or 3 times. So those are my two. If I had to pick one, though, I'm a diehard Nuggets fan, but I'm going Mike Brown.
Nice. Yeah, for me, my coach of the year is Billy Donovan. I think he's just kidding. Mike Brown is also my coach of the year. I think it's pretty obvious. Like you said, those two locker rooms seem to have the best chemistry in the league. And the Kings have had just such a drastic turnaround from last year. Obviously, some of that has to do with Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. They can get to another level. But you need a coach to come in and unlock that. And a bad coach will mess up the chemistry, as we saw with some teams this year. So Mike Brown is coach of the year for me, and it really wasn't too much of a competition. Mike Malone was up there. Joe Mazzulla was up there. Bud was up there, but I think Mike Brown's got to take it this year.
Yeah, I think what Mike Malone has done well is continue to keep this team on track and on the up and up. And they've been #1 in the West pretty much all year.
Yeah.
That's
a big difference between like the top contending teams. The Celtics were up there for the East for a long time, but now the Bucks are. The Nuggets haven't had like a bad month. They've just been consistently rolling.
Yeah. Let's go Nuggets. All right.
Okay. I think Defensive Player of the Year should be the next award. This is an award that some people care about more than others. I'm a guy who loves defense. And this is someone who I was backing for All-Star, who I think whenever he's out there, his play on the defensive end is undeniable. Give me Jaren Jackson Jr. for Defensive Player of the Year. It was between him and Bam, but the Heat are not anywhere near where you would want them to be after being the 1 seed last year. And the Grizzlies have stayed top echelon of the West. They are struggling a bit now, and like we just mentioned, don't have some of their key starters. But Jaren Jackson is playing. He's healthy right now, and he's tearing it up defensively.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah, total blocks leader, blocks per game leader. That's really like important when it comes to the defensive teams and awards. People look at the counting stats.
But you got somebody who's on a really good defensive team, and he leads them in defense. And he's right up there as far as like lead and blocks per game. And if he played in Memphis, maybe he'd have more with that stat keeper. His name is Brook Lopez.
That's so valid. I'm glad you said that.
They're #1 in the East right now. They're on like how many game winning streak? 16-game winning streak.
And
we haven't seen a winning streak like this since maybe the Heat or the Warriors.
The last time the Bucks did it. Didn't they win 20 in a row like a couple of seasons ago?
Maybe. Yeah. But he's helped propel them to the top.
Absolutely.
It's not all Giannis, and if you watch Bucks games, which most people don't, but you can see that. Chris Middleton is selling this year. He's trash. You got Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Brook Lopez that are really sort of the core guys of this Milwaukee Bucks team. And realistically, Brook Lopez has put up a good argument to be Defensive Player of the Year. He led most of the season. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. started doing steroids with Ja, and now he's leading. So,
This man. Jaren Jackson Jr. missed like the first 6 weeks of the season, if you didn't know. And since coming back, he's taken over Brook for blocks per game and total blocks, which is very impressive. But Brook has been great, and I believe the Bucks are currently the second best defense in the NBA, just right behind the Grizzlies. So it's really, with the recent run that the Bucks are on, I think Brook has asserted himself as a defensive player of the year candidate. And early in the season, he was like an all-star contention. Of course, he fell off with the scoring and all that. But you can see when him and Giannis are out there, Brook is there to like defer shots at the rim, and Giannis can play like a free safety essentially on defense and run and take care of the mismatches. And Drew Holiday with the perimeter defense, the Bucks, man, they're looking really, really nice. And I wouldn't be surprised if they made a run to the finals again.
They got one of the top 5 dirtiest players in the NBA too, and they don't even need to use them for that. So
that's true.
Shout out Bucks. Screw that's Grayson true. Allen. All right, go ahead. Oh wait, it's my turn. What are we going with?
You want to do most improved?
Yeah, we're gonna have different answers for this. I
think we've had different answers for all except for Coach of the Year.
I've struggled, I know, but I know we were talking last night, and Markkanen was definitely my number one. But after thinking about it some more, I was stuck between Shai and Tyrese. But I think SGA. I mean, that man is averaging a ton of points. He's efficient, playing super well. Are the Thunder really good? No. But are they good for how young they are? Yeah, they are. So, I just Markkanen has played amazing all season, but so has Shai. So I got to go with Shai.
That's fine. Shai has played great. He was an all-star this year. He's very fun to watch. He's missed time recently, but whenever he's out there, he's very, very fun to watch. Shout out Canada. My only thing with Shai is he went from being really good to being better. Lauri Markkanen, his efficiency is up across the board a significant amount, 2-pointers and 3-pointers, and his points per game is up nearly 11 points from last year.
That's
and
because
the Jazz he's utilized more. He's been, I think also his play for the Finnish team really helped him in the summer. I think that really helped unlock him and get his confidence back. The Jazz are currently a couple games ahead of the Thunder in the standings. Not that typically matters with most improved, but it goes to show Lauri Markkanen has been an impactful player because the Jazz roster isn't that great. They have a few guys that are nice. They have a great rookie, Walker Kessler, who we should show love to. Pick up of the
if
season.
Walker Kessler played like this all season, that's who would have been my rookie of the year.
Yeah, shout out Walker Kessler. But I think Lauri Markkanen for me is almost no contest. Shai, I love Shai. Tyrese is a good mention too. But Lauri Markkanen took that role player to all-star jump, and I love to see it as a Bulls fan who loved Lauri his whole tenure. You can ask anybody who I talked to about the Bulls. I wish that things worked out for Markkanen in Chicago, but I'm so happy for him.
How long has he been in the league?
I believe this is his 6th season.
Okay. How long has Shai been in the league?
He was drafted 2018, so that would be his 5th season.
5 years.
Yeah.
Pretty close. And Tyrese is a good mention.
Yeah. I think this is only Tyrese's 3rd season.
Tyrese is young, and he's averaging the 2nd most assists, or maybe tied for 3rd.
I'm not sure. He's up there. For sure.
It changes pretty much every night, but yeah, that's fair. All right, bro.
Okay. Next up, we're gonna do our 6th man of the year, and I'll take this one first. I had to show love to a guy who has been playing consistently well on a team that's been consistently good all season. And I went with Malcolm Brogdon. He's basically 14.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and he provides that spark that the Celtics were definitely missing in the finals last year as a ball handler off the bench and someone who can catch and shoot, alleviate a little bit of pressure from the stars. So Malcolm Brogdon gets my nod.
That's also who I went with. I really wanted to go with Russ, but I couldn't. Yeah, I went with the Celtics player. Can you believe it?
I can't
Um,
believe it.
my only thing with Malcolm Brogdon is battling injuries is always seems to be a thing for him. But
Yeah.
he's been relatively healthy,
He's
and
been
when he's out there,
relatively healthy, and I
he
think
plays well, and he's been
not,
consistent. I would have
yeah,
went with Russ if he was still on the Lakers, um,
he's not a six
because
man anymore.
yeah, that's the thing. I just feel like that negates. But
Yeah.
this one was hard. There wasn't a lot of good candidates this year, to be honest.
I did
Benedict
have
Mathurin is also a good candidate, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I did have another contender who was actually on Russ's team and Norm Powell, but because the Clippers have been underwhelming and they're really struggling right now post
And their
All-Star,
rotation changes a
their
lot.
rotation changes.
Injuries, all of
Norm,
it.
yeah, it's all up in the air right now. Norm didn't play in the game last night. I don't know if he was injured or not, but I didn't see him on the court. But I decided to go with Malcolm Brogdon. And another thing I was gonna say whenever you were talking about injuries is I think his role off the bench has helped him stay healthy. You know, less minutes. It's like the Derrick Rose and Minnesota, Detroit, even New York effect. Yeah,
Yeah.
you bring a good guard off the bench, and there's a better chance that he'll stay healthy.
Is it most improved? I mean, clutch.
Clutch player.
Let's do it, baby. There's no other answer. There's no other answer. It's De'Aaron
We
Fox. It's De'Aaron Fox. There's no other answer. This
That's
man has
fair.
not only been the clutchest player in the last 5 minutes of games, he's been the clutchest player in the fourth quarter. He's had like one of the highest efficiency ratings. He's been their go-to guy. Every team knows that he's getting the ball, and he still finds a way to score. And he has been so clutch free throws, clutch points, game winners, sending it into overtime, winning in overtime. De'Aaron Fox all day.
Yeah. That's totally valid. I think the winner is De'Aaron Fox. So I'm not gonna hold you, but I said something different just to keep it fresh.
Who did you
Uh,
say?
well, listen, there's a lot of good contenders. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox is up there. I've seen Lauri Markkanen hit game winners, game winning free throws. I've seen De'Aaron Fox's teammate Sabonis hit game winning free throws last night.
Because De'Aaron
Uh,
Fox got them into the
but I
position
went
to
with
do that.
someone. Obviously, Lillard will always be there. I
Yeah,
went with someone who uh his clutch factor hasn't necessarily translated to like game winners, but someone who will turn it on in the fourth quarter defensively and offensively. I've seen this man take over games.
You're
And
talking
that's
about
true.
Jimmy Butler.
No, I'm talking about Drew Holiday. Drew
Oh,
Drew Holiday. I've seen him like straight up turn around games just with his defensive presence and pushing the pace and getting steals during crucial moments. I felt like he was an all-star, but from the majority of the media and the fans this year, I feel like he's still been underrated. But when I watch him play, I'm like, yeah, he deserves to be an all-star. He's almost like that Jimmy Butler type all-star where his counting stats won't necessarily show his imprint on the game. So I just want to show some love to Drew Holiday. But yeah, it's De'Aaron Fox, if we're being honest.
it has to be. They're third. They're the Kings, and
Yeah.
they're third in the West.
And they're only a game behind the Grizzlies, who, as
Who
we
are
said,
selling hard.
they're selling hard right now.
Yeah, Jaw's about to be locked up. You got Dylan Brooks, who's also about to be locked up. You got Jaren Jackson Jr. about to be suspended for steroids. You got Steven Adams, who can't be healthy. You got Brandon Clark, who's hurt. Memphis is going to be probably sixth in the West by the time it's said and done.
That's a hot take. You heard it here first, folks.
There's only like 17 games left or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, all right, Memphis. Time
All
to
right,
keep selling.
Memphis.
All right.
Okay. Wow. That leaves us with our last award, the one that you've all tuned in for, MVP. Let's go ahead and start with Trevor on this one.
I don't think you're going to be surprised by my answer. It is the number one team in the West, highest player efficiency rating, better at defense than he's ever been, triple double king, 28-0 now in a row when he has a triple double. It is the Serbian Nikola Jokic.
Hmm. It's hard to argue.
I could go on, but
Yeah.
I mean, there are guys that I could argue though.
There
Joel is
are.
up there.
Wait, don't say
Giannis.
anything because I have a different answer.
Okay, go ahead. If you say Joel, we're not brothers no more, bro.
Yes, Jokic has been amazing, and he'll probably win it. I would have said Jokic if I didn't know that you were gonna say Jokic, but I decided to go with the hottest team in the league right now. The best player in the league probably still, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. His third MVP. Either Jokic is winning 3 in a row or Giannis is winning 3 in 5 years. So it's not like a super hot take on who's gonna be MVP this year, but it's been so fun to watch basketball, bro. And I'm like an early riser, early sleepyhead. I go to bed earlier and I don't get to watch as many Nuggets games as I do Bucks games. So I've seen what Giannis does a lot more. And I've seen him do it to my team. I've seen him do it to other players. I've seen him shut down other MVP candidates. So it's gonna be a little bit tighter than you would have thought maybe like a month ago before the Bucks went on this crazy run and Giannis started averaging like 37 and 15. But his averages for the season are great. Of course, Jokic's are too. He's averaging a triple double. So either guy I'm gonna be happy with, but I just wanted to sauce it up a little bit and say someone you weren't gonna say.
That's fair. I mean, Jokic is top 5 in points, and I think he's top 5 in rebounds. I mean, not points, assists, and I think he's top 5 in rebounds now as well.
Nice.
And he has shot under 50% once or twice this year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's not the guy that's just taking layups. It's the crazy thing.
Now
Like,
there has been a little bit of talk recently, and I kind of do agree with it. That Jokic won't take a shot if it's not like a good shot because he wants to keep that efficiency up. But at the same time, like that's not hurting the team or anything like
high
that.
basketball IQ.
So,
He has guys
yeah.
around him playing their best basketball they ever have.
Yeah, you would want
Well,
Jokic to shoot a little bit more, and we'll
I
see if he
agree.
does in the playoffs. But
I agree.
I don't
He's
think
gonna
that should be
need
a
to.
knock. Yeah,
He's gonna need to at a certain point. But also, like when you look at his offensive efficiency rating, and like AG is playing the best basketball he's played since his first couple years in the league. And you got Jamal playing his best basketball ever. You got MPJ who's playing really well now. You got KCP who's like top 3 in 3-point percentage. That doesn't happen without Nikola Jokic.
yeah,
It just doesn't.
absolutely
It doesn't.
not.
So people are gonna argue it because he's not a highlight reel. He's a highlight reel to me, but he's not like
He's
incredibly
definitely a
athletic.
highlight reel.
He's not incredibly athletic. You're not seeing the crazy dunks. You're not seeing crazy blocks. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
got to be Jokic.
for sure. And like, it's funny because I feel like we're not seeing any Giannis highlights, but he's still dunking on everyone. He's 4th in points per game this season. He's 4th in rebounds per game this season. He's always going to be good. Like I said, free safety on defense. And he's both of these guys are really fun to cheer for. So that definitely makes it easier. Ultimately, I do think Jokic is going to win it, but shout out Giannis, man. I guess I'm a Bucks lover right now. I've been showing love to the Bucks. Well, you
gotta
said
give him
DPOI though.
gotta give him his flowers though. Jason Tatum has done nothing wrong. Like
Recently though,
he's done
he
nothing
sold
to
last night.
That's true, but one game, like he's really hasn't done a lot to be out of this conversation.
No. It's just the other guys have been playing that much better. Yeah.
And I feel bad. It's the Joel Embiid effect, man. He has a great year. Somebody else has a better year.
Yeah,
like,
which is Embiid again this year.
Coming up number 2 or number 3. And the Sixers are playing amazing.
The Sixers, have they passed the Celtics in the standings? They're right there if they haven't.
I think
the Sixers are peaking at the right time. The Bucks are peaking at the right time. It's gonna be a fun playoff run this year
all around
for all around, yeah. The playing
100%.
tournament. I cannot wait for the Bulls to sneak in from the 10 seed and win a championship. That's gonna be
Okay.
so crazy.
That was gonna be my final just bonus question. Who's winning?
Who's winning the championship this year? Give me the Bucks, bro.
All right.
I'm feeling this hot streak.
I'm gonna stick with the Nuggets.
I would love a Nuggets Bucks finals. That would be so fun.
Many people would have to shut up about this man not winning a championship.
We're looking at you, Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins is a joke. He's almost as bad as Nick Wright. Almost.
He's almost as bad as Max Kellerman. No, he's as bad as Max Kellerman.
Nah, Skip maybe.
Skip maybe. Oh man. Well, that was our NBA award predictions. We will definitely post the proof if we get them right and not if we get them wrong. So we appreciate y'all joining us for this podcast. We cannot wait to see y'all again very soon. Trevor, anything you'd like to say to the people?
Have a blessed day and stay up. Go Nuggets.
Have a blessed day and stay up. Go Nuggets. Push.